What's up, everybody? It's the 77th episode of The Hobby with Cage. And what's one of the things I love the most about the hobby, I mean, I could probably give you a list of 30 things that I love about the hobby, is, so many different people from so many different walks of life, doing their own thing, making their own way. And on Friday, I came in here after a couple of fun episodes, right? A couple of episodes where I was like, flipping the quarterbacks and, are people going to dip? Are the cards being made crappy? You name it. I got some comments, got some DMs from people saying, Cage, come on, man. It's not all bad. It can't be all bad. There's good stuff going on, like the cards are getting better and, we get all these good things. And I say, you know what? I got to mix it in, man. I got to have some, I don't want to call it the hobby optimism because, you get crap just for saying that, but you got to mix in some of the good stuff, right? I mean, talk about the community, talk about, the friendships that are built, talk about some of the cool businesses that are built. And, as I was doing the episode, it wasn't a planned thing, but as I was talking on Friday, I just dropped in the episode, hey, I want to bring back the Come Up with Cage. And, for those of you guys who weren't with me years ago when I was doing that, we had our episodes, every day with 1,000 of them. One of the things I wanted to try to do was use the platform, use, the fact that we had this audience, the fact that we had so many followers to kind of spotlight people who were trying to make their own way. The genesis of it really was, Andrew and I used to talk about how there were so many big names in the hobby and we'd love for one of them to give us a leg up, but nobody really did. Don't get me wrong. People were generous to us. We asked Patrick Bet-David to come on the show. He said yes. We asked Gary Vee to come on the show. He said yes. Like, that's cool stuff. You know what I mean? Joe Rogan was still waiting for him to reply. If Joe Rogan says yes, I will bring Andrew back for that one. We'll take him out. We'll dust him off and we'll bring Andrew back out for the Joe Rogan coming back on the podcast. But the point, of course, is let's try to give that push, that leg up, that little bootstrap, that pull up, that come up, right? That nobody was giving to us. And then was born the Come Up with Cage. The thing is, doing daily episodes, doing all the other stuff, life, job, family, it got to be a little too much. But I'm not doing daily episodes now. I'm doing them 3 times a week. I say, you know what? Let's bring it back. And the best part about this hobby is people are not shy. Nick here, who we're going to get to in a second, because he's now listening to me do a 3-minute intro. Nick, he takes the bull by the horns. Like any good entrepreneur would be, he must have listened to the episode on Friday, and here it is Monday, and he's on. And we're going to do a quick little Come Up with Cage. You're going to meet Nick. You're going to hear about his company. And it's as easy as that, folks. It's as easy as that. You listen to the episode, you send out a message. Now, I got a few messages, but Nick's was interesting, right? Because I clicked through to Nick's page, Break Comp, and I said, all right, this is interesting. Now, disclaimers out of the way. I know nothing about this company. I have not a dollar invested, nor have received a dollar from Nick. I promise you this is not any type of paid sponsorship, nor will they ever be on the Come Up with Cage, because that defeats the purpose. I just want to shine a light on somebody who's trying to do something different in this hobby. And I think they're trying to make it better. So without further ado, wow, we got a 3-minute and 30-second intro for you, Nick. That might be a record. Nick from Break Comp. Nick, say hi. Tell folks what Break Comp is, and then we're going to get into your story a little bit.
Yeah, thanks for your time, Cage, and pleasure to speak to everybody about Break Comp, BREAKCOMP.com. It is similar to a kayak or Priceline, but for the breaking world, and allows individuals, collectors to search for breaks by the lowest price. I felt there was a need for this for pricing transparency. So if you go to Break Comp, you can use our search engine, search by a PYT break, a random break. It will display the lowest price. You can search specific breakers.
So it's like an aggregator of breaks, man. So like, Football Mosaic just came out, right? And I'm a Raider fan. So I want to go and buy some Raider team breaks, right? Yes. Obviously, there's not much great stuff going on with the Raiders this year. But,
right.
I want to buy Mosaic football. I want to buy the Colts because I want all the Anthony Richardson cards, right? So
right.
But I don't know which breaker to use. There's breakers all over the place, right? Do I go to the backyard? Do I go to the front yard? Do I hang out with the Blez guys? Do I go with Leighton? What am I going to do? You know what? I just want the best price. So what do? I go to breakcomp.com. Talk to me. How does it work?
Yeah, you go to breakcomp.com. when you first arrive there, you'll see a list of the top, I guess, 10 to 15 most recent products added to the database. Or if it's not there, you can search for a specific team. In this case, Colts, Mosaic. You click the search button, free to use. After 3 searches, we just require you to enter in information, register, free to use, no credit card, anything like that.
All right, so that's interesting. You could try it out first for free for 3 times. Try it out, give it a shot. There's no, you don't even have to sign up, don't have to do anything, right? After
That's
3
correct.
times, obviously you're liking it. We want to get you signed up. We want to make sure that you're getting all the features of the of breakcomp.com. Pretty awesome. So it's going to list it like by price?
It's going to list it by price, lowest to highest, list the different breakers. You can just click the buy button. And it'll take you to the website, to the streaming service, Fanatics
You
Live.
click it and you click right through to them, right? So if it turns out that Backyard has the cheapest price for a Colts, break Mosaic, you click a button, it goes right to Backyards, and you
That's
can.
correct. Yes, that's correct.
So does Backyard even know that you're doing this?
They do not. We did receive a lot of positive feedback from some breakers, collectors as well. I'm also taking feedback on what they would like to see, how they want it improved. So I'm taking that into account for the future as well. Right now, we're just listing breaks where it's a specific buy now price format.
Okay.
We're not doing anything as far as auctions. That's too tricky right now. When we update the technology way in the future, we do have some ideas for that. Not ready to share that or kind of bring that to market yet.
All right, Nick. So pretty straightforward, right? The ask is if you guys are looking to break any kind of product, right, and you're looking to buy a team break, or a player break, I guess, however they do it, right? Instead of just kind of fishing around, or hate to say it, I know this is brand loyalty, but instead of just going straight to your breaker that you break with all the time, you can go to Break Comp and see other breakers who are doing it. Have you limited the amount of breakers? Like, do you have any kind of a, kind of like a threshold? Like, has the breaker been in business for X amount of time? Do you vet the breakers out at all, or just straight price?
Yeah, we want credible breakers on here. We obviously we know the kind of the reputable ones out there. If you're a new breaker, we do welcome you. There is a application process that we go through before we'll list your price on there. But if you're a breaker, hey, feel free to reach out to us. You can either email us, contact@breakcomp.com, or hit us up on Instagram at breakcompcards.
So if you're a breaker and you're listening to this, there's a vetting process, which is good, which is what you'd expect a company to be doing. You have to apply to be on Break Comp. Probably doesn't cost them anything to be on Break Comp, but you got to vet it out. Obviously, the big names are on there, but if you're trying to make a name for yourself, and usually the easiest way to do that is having a lower price, and you want your, it's like Progressive Insurance, right? Like, here you go, we're going to give you a pricing tool, right? Sometimes we're the cheapest, sometimes we're not. And I would also think it's probably a very good tool for breakers to comp what they're pricing their stuff at, right? If you go on here as a breaker and you see 5 people have cheaper buy it nows of a break than you do, you might want to adjust your breaking price. It's sort of, a good tool for breakers in that regard as well, right?
Yeah, that's a great point, Cage. Yeah, we actually have heard for some breakers that are actually using it for that purpose as well. Yeah.
See, my easy follow-up question on this is, Nick, I'm going to get to your background and how we got here, but ultimately you were here. And let's call it the month before Break Comp came out. What was it about the space? What was it about, the hobby, breaking, you name it, that just a light bulb came off and said, you know what? The hobby needs this. The space needs this pricing tool.
Sure. You look at Card Ladder, Market Movers, other price comparison, or not really price comparison, but price databases in the market. It kind of just hit me one day that there's a need for this in the market. I feel breaking consumers could use something like this to get some pricing transparency and to easily find the pricing through our search engine. So that's why I started it up. I
I love
felt
it.
there was a strong need to
I
get
don't break, but I know a lot of people do, and I think it's the next frontier. And I think something like this is very helpful.
Yes.
I mean, I don't mind shouting out, other companies, but Cardboard Connection is one of my favorite sites. Right, if a new release is coming out, they'll give you kind of like a checklist of it and like what you could look for and the hits and the odds and you name it. Cardboard Connection. But what a lot of people don't realize, and it's a free site, is right on the top of, okay, let's say it's 2023 Mosaic Football, because we'll just stick with the same one. If you want to buy a hobby box of it, you can go on eBay and scroll. You can go on Blowout and scroll. If you go to Cardboard Connection, they give you the lowest price, and you can click it and actually buy it, like buy it now on price. That's been a helpful tool for me if I'm looking to buy cards, not just buying by clicking through that, but I can see what the lowest price available for a box is when I go to my LCS. And, he's like, hey, I got this for this much. And I said, wait a second, I can get it online and have it here in a day or two for significantly less than that. I'm going to pass on that product. Or, hey, wow, he's the same price, or he's $5 less than what these guys are. It's always good to have that information out there, Nick. And I think Break Comp for breaking, which, like I said, it's different than just buying a box of
right.
Right? This is what people are doing now. People are breaking. It's more information at your fingertips, even if you wind up sticking with your own breaker. It's the same thing as with my LCS, right? Let's say you're a fan of Mama Breaks, right? And you only like breaking with Mama Breaks because she puts on a good show and you're going to get your stuff. But if you check Break Comp for that product that you're breaking with Mama Breaks, and there are a couple people that are $5 less or $3 less, whatever it is, you might stick with Mama Breaks, even though she's not the cheapest, because you know what you're getting. You're brand loyal. She throws in freebies or whatever it is. But it's a good data point. It's a good piece of information for you to have. So if you are a breaker, I would check this out. And if you are somebody who breaks, right, somebody who actually buys into breaks, it's free, right? I mean, you charging anything?
That's right. It's free to use, yes. And another feature we plan on offering is kind of a average overall price by breakers. I've received such positive feedback that they want that instead of listed out by price per team, they want an overall per breaker average price for specific products, what every team adds up to. So that's something we plan on offering too in the future, and I think people are really going to enjoy that feature as well.
What's better than a business that's listening to suggestions from the users? I think probably nothing. So, Nick, I'm going to back it up because I think everybody knows, breakcomp.com. That's the website, right? They can find you on IG also, right? It's BreakComp.
BreakComp cards on IG, yes.
BreakComp cards and your BreakComp Nick, right? We got all kinds of fun stuff. All right. So, guys, take a look if you are on the breaking side or if you are somebody who actually breaks cards, a consumer who buys into breaks. It seems like sort of a no-brainer to check it out just from a pricing perspective, right? And the click-through seems pretty easy. But I gotta give the folks out there, Nick, give me the background. We got the 1 month before Break Comp where you thought this is are you somebody who's been in cards for a long time? Are you somebody who came back in recently, like most folks? Talk to me about. Just give me kind of like the 2-minute Nick story.
Sure. Yeah, I'm a huge collector. I've been a collector. Cards were my life growing up. I remember 1987 buying my first packs of 87 Tops, chasing that Bo Jackson rookie card, try to get the Dwight Gooden cards, classic years.
Yep. 87 with Wally Joyner. The Wally Joyner Futures card was a big card. Mike Greenwell was a huge card for us.
Yes,
in 87.
Yeah, it was.
I'm trying to remember who else was 87.
Bonds, McGuire.
Yeah, Bonds.
Didn't really know about McGuire till later on in the year.
Bonilla was big.
Yeah.
Bonilla was a big one. 87 was fun, man. Bonds
it was.
We're old, is basically what we're telling you. All right, so you bought some cards in the 80s and you decided, you found beer and women and left the hobby like all of us did. Is that it?
Yeah, as most stories go, left in like 11th, 12th grade, went to college and wasn't really collecting then. Didn't finish college, but started e-commerce jewelry business early 2000s. Did that up until roughly 2010 when I did a tech startup with a buddy of mine from high school. It was a healthcare social networking site, which we exited out of. We got purchased by a publicly traded company in the UK, which was quite exciting. And roughly 2007, 2008.
All right, so I'm going to stop you because I mean, you never know what you're going to get out of guests. And I got to tell you, it's my favorite thing about the hobby conversations. I mean, every guest we have on, from Jeremy Padawer on, and his company, after we had him on, has since been bought by Warren Buffett. I mean, just crazy stuff, right? And one of the most exciting things for me is, doing this for 3 years. I get to tell my kids there's a different way of living life, there's a different way of making money, there's a different way of doing business, right? So did you have a family of entrepreneurs? Like, did your parents own businesses? Do you have an uncle who told you this is what you got to do? Like how do you just go to, I'm not finishing college and I'm going to just start an e-commerce business. I'm going to sell jewelry online. And then I'm going to start this other company, with a healthcare friend of mine. How does that happen?
Yeah, not really a family of entrepreneurs or anything. I guess kind of just growing up, right time with the internet and technology. Just didn't want to work for a boss, wanted to do my own thing, didn't want to do the 9 to 5, work more hours, but a lot more upside in some cases. So yeah, just went with it. Obviously,
it's important to hear that, Nick. Very important, because there are a lot of people out there who I think came into the hobby because they didn't want to work for somebody else. Yeah. A lot of people who are out there, starting their own businesses, trying to make it, whether it's just a flipping card business or a content business, or, they're out there just doing their own thing. They're breakers, they're involved in the hobby because, they want to do their own thing, right? I think there's a draw to that. But what's funny is what you just said, that a lot of entrepreneurs don't get to that granularity in a sense. I worked more hours. Sure, there's more upside. People are like, oh, yeah, I'm my own boss. I come and go as I please. No, you work more hours when you're working for yourself, right?
That's right. Not a 9 to 5 job. Definitely not.
But
and a lot more stress at the beginning as well.
I mean, and it's not always a success, right? I mean, the jewelry business didn't have an exit. Nobody from UK, came in and bought your jewelry business, but it was a living, right?
It was successful, yeah. No exit or anything like that. Yeah, I felt there was more upside going with the tech startup, and yeah, I am so glad I did.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I always love that. I think that the hobby kind of draws entrepreneurial, spirits. I think that's kind of just, one of the things that I see here. And I mean, I think obviously you hit the nail on the head with the, with the healthcare thing, because a big company came and bought it. I think this is a great tool that you're coming up with, Nick. If you had sort of like an ask for the folks out there, anybody who's listening to this, is it just, hey, give it a try and try it out. Let me know what you think. Go ahead and give your 30-second elevator pitch to the folks listening.
Sure. Yeah. Give it a try. Free to use. Nothing to lose for you. Go to breakcomp.com. Hit me up on Instagram at breakcompcards. Also, me personally as a collector, this may be the first time this baseball player is mentioned on any of your podcasts. Gage. I'm a PC collector of Cliff Floyd. So if you have any rare PMG, Star Rubies, game used items, contact me with those as well.
I mean, is that because you were buying, early 90s SP and he was actually a rookie in there with the foil rookie Cliff Floyd, or are you just, your Expos guy? What's the story?
I live in central Pennsylvania, Lancaster area. We have the Reading Phillies, the Harrisburg Senators close by. My dad took me to a lot of games as a teenager growing up. Had a huge minor league year. I think it was 92. And yeah, just became a huge Expos fan. Cliff Floyd back then, and have collected ever since.
There you go.
He threw me a
Cliff Floyd cards, folks. Yeah. He was good. Cliff Floyd was a good player.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Very good player. Yeah, I don't think anybody's ever come on and told me that they were a Cliff Floyd PC. But there you go. I mean, listen, that you kind of have to have one little strand of lunatic collector in you in order to make this work. And guys, so you have a collector at heart who's looking out for, folks. But you know what you didn't do? You didn't say, all right, you know what, IPC Cliff Floyd, this breaking. I guess you did one of these, you took the temperature, you see which way the wind's blowing. The wind is clearly blowing towards breaking. And this is something that I think is a useful tool. Guys, this is Nick. Check out breakcomp.com and breakcomp cards on IG. Again, breakcomp cards on IG, breakcomp.com. It is free to use. I'll add this little tidbit to his elevator pitch of 30 seconds. If you do use it, reach out to him and let him know what you think. He seems pretty accessible, seems pretty responsive, and the best hobby, companies are the ones that tweak their offering based on the suggestions of their user base to make it better for the people who are ultimately going to use it. That means if you're a breaker, make suggestions. If you're somebody who's buying it, make suggestions. And I think it makes it better for everybody involved. Nick, thank you for taking me up on it. Thanks for listening to the content and reaching out. And it was fun having you on, man. I said it'd be 10 minutes. It wound up being a little longer than that.
Appreciate you, Cage. Thanks for having me on, man. Really appreciate it.
We'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye.
And that's Nick, guys. And, normally what I would say here is, that's 20 minutes. I can't. It's Monday. Monday is my brain dump day. I got a couple things. I'll keep this brief, I promise. Number one, that was pretty fun. If you're listening to that and you're like, you know what, I got a company like that also, or hey, I'm selling these plastics, or plastics, I'm old. I got this company that does this. And you hang your cards on the wall, or hey, I got this tech idea, and I started this up and the whole deal. I don't know how many followers Nick had on Instagram. I didn't look, but I don't think it's that many. And I've reached out to a bunch of people. I responded to a bunch of DMs already. I definitely want to roll this out. It's not going to be every episode, guys, because I know there are folks out there who don't want to listen to that. But this is, I think, what the hobby's about. You know what I mean? I can't just come on here and crap on Sam Howell all the time. Although I guess I could come on here and crap on Sam Howell if I wanted to, especially today. But it's more about, what the hobby is about here. And look, you may listen to that first 20 minutes and be like, I don't break. I don't care. I got no use for it. Fine. It's less about the breaking. And it's not even about what that company is about. It's about, looking out for your fellow hobby participant. It's about making the space better, continuing to grow the space. And maybe that's my way of 10Xing the hobby. Maybe I'll 10X the hobby through the Come Up With Cage. Because we're all looking at 10X it. Kind of how it works. A quick little fun one. My Raiders got kicked in the balls last night. I do not have a Raider hat on. I have a Bleecker Trading hat on. If you missed it, Mark Zablo. It was his birthday this weekend. Send him a little happy birthday message. God, say happy birthday, Mark Zablo. And fantasy. Oh, there is nothing like fantasy to knock you down a peg in life. But I'm not done. I'm not done in either of my leagues. All right. I'm on the canvas. The ref is counting. He's counting. The 10-day cup. I'm trying to get up off the canvas. Monday night games are going to matter in both of them. In one league, I'm down by like 40 points. The guy I'm playing against has the Tampa Bay running back, and I have the Eagles D and Jalen Hurts. Says that I got less than a 30% chance of winning. But you're saying there's a chance. In my other league, it's even worse. But we'll see what happens. I'll keep you guys posted. I know you do not care about my fantasy, but 1 week does not make all of the difference. If you're out there like C. Blez, who I love dearly, saying that 1 week does not matter and that Sam Howell is still going to be an elite quarterback, I implore you to watch the game again, because I know you watched it because you got money to play on it. I watched a good chunk of that game. That pick in the end zone was bad. That was like Zach Wilson bad. You don't throw that. You got to throw that back corner. You can't throw that in and let the defender get to it. Now, can Sam Howell get better and learn? Sure. I mentioned in my prior episode, that he'll probably be a good quarterback. They got some real talent around them. All right. And it's just 3 weeks in. My fantasy team, I may go 0-3, but it doesn't mean I'm done. Same thing with a lot of these rookie quarterbacks. Are you guys also giving up on Trevor Lawrence yet? I don't think so, but man, he's looked pretty pedestrian. Burrow, not such a great start, and injured, right? So, it hasn't been a fantastic start for any of these QBs. And two of the top three rookies, weren't even out there, right? Bryce Young was replaced by what's his name? Andy Dalton. Richardson was out, with an injury. Gardner Minshew led that team to the win. Woo! Gardner Minshew magic. It's been an interesting couple of weeks. And it really does kind of like, refocus you on, the card money, where you're putting it, and the whole deal. It was nice to see the Philly show this weekend. I'd love to hear your thoughts about all the craziness that went on the last week. Michael Rubin showing up the Philly show and, doing all that stuff. And then also doing the Wemby drawing, for that green out of 99. Is that a cool thing? Is that something you want in the hobby? I got to tell you, my favorite commentary on it was from basketball card guy John, saying, he enjoyed it. I enjoyed it too, to an extent. I think that's a cool thing. I think that, getting someone who is buying cards, not just the ability to get the card, but the ability to go to that type of an event, right? I think of like the Topps Transcendent party that so many people don't really get the chance to go to, right? Having the ability to open a pack of cards, and when you open that pack of cards, you are one of 99 people who have a chance to go meet the guy who's on the redemption. Not just get the card, right? But meet Wemby. That's a cool thing. And if Fanatics is going to bring stuff like that to the hobby, I think that's definitely cool. I think that's definitely a step in the right direction. You may disagree, and you also may disagree, for a different reason. You may think the way it was handled is silly. You may think the way that, it was portrayed on Instagram is silly. That's all fair. And I'd love to hear your comments on it. My commentary is last week, hobby flipping, the direction it's going, and all the other fun stuff that we did, flip or dip. Are people going to leave? I do want to throw in one, not just, we talk about a new business that's trying to do some stuff here, but I've never seen anything like that. That's something new that Fanatics kind of brought to the equation. And it's only going to make more competition, more innovation, more stuff like that go forward. I mean, anybody who was at like the Panini party, previously at the National, you see Barry Sanders come out, and it's more interaction, more back and forth with athletes. It's more of that connection through the cardboard. That's what I think it's about, right? You're moving away from a piece of cardboard with a picture and a jersey that doesn't really apply to anything or any event or anything, to actual meaningful experiences, these chances to actually have that, the follow back stuff where, you pull this follow back and Mike Trout follows you back on Instagram. Oh, you pull this one and you get a chance to go to this event and meet Wemby again. These are cool things that I think are all steps in the right direction. You tell me what you think. And there you go, guys. I try to keep them under a half an hour, even with that come up with Cage. Enjoy your Monday. Maybe the Raiders will win next week and you'll catch me in a better mood. And, I got the fingers crossed for the fantasy team later. We'll see what happens. Talk to you guys soon.